Maybe the garbage truck came, I said. Cammy shook her head. It comes Monday afternoons. I see it when I'm waiting for my dad. Maybe Guy picked it up on his way home. No, I watched him. He walked straight to his backyard. Cammy, this is really weird. I glanced over at Hamlet Daycare. There's Guy out in his yard. We've got to get him back in on this. I ran over to the daycare's high chain link fence. Guy was standing moodily beside a swing set, one hand on a rope swing, swinging a chuckling toddler. Guy? He looked at me sourly. What? Guy, we can't find the banner. The hand holding the rope froze. The toddler bobbled at the end of his swing and stopped chuckling. Isn't it in the big rubbish bin? No. He gave the toddler a healthy push to start him swinging again, and then let himself out through the gate and latched it behind him. Did you check through all the trash? We checked everything. Look through it if you want. By the way, sorry I was such an idiot. Guy fumbled through the garbage for a while. You were right, he finally said. If this is really where Mrs. Logan put it, someone's got it. But why? What's even more weird is who even knew that Mrs. Logan put it in the trash bin, Cammy said. I mean, this was 6:30 in the morning. That means it probably wasn't a teen cruiser who made the banner, I said. A cruiser wouldn't have bothered to come back for it. Whoever made it is afraid it can be traced. So it might be somebody we know. Guy looked thoughtful. And somebody who knew exactly where Mrs. Logan had tossed the banner. Cammy shivered and looked around her. I mean, it's not like this was the only trash container. There's another one back at the art place, and a small one up by the London bus. Let's ask Mrs. Logan some more questions, said Guy. I nodded. Right. Might as well get it over with. Poor Mrs. Logan, Cammy said. She's going to tell us to go outside and play. And Cammy was pretty much right. I don't care if the banner's gone, Agape's owner told us heatedly. I don't want to talk about it. Can't you kids find something worthwhile to do? Guy gave her a boyish grin as much as he could manage. We're playing detective. We're looking for clues. It's as plain as the nose on your face, she told him bluntly. Some foul-minded high schooler went to all the trouble to blaspheme the name of the Lord with a computer. I don't know who it was, and I don't care. I want to put it behind me and get on with my life. Mrs. Logan, Guy pleaded, just tell us a couple of things. How many people knew where you put the banner? Did the ladies of your Bible study group see you put it there? She thought for a minute. Yes. Margie started walking over with me, but I was going so fast she didn't come all the way. I suppose she could have heard the lid bang, though. Anybody else? I doubt it. Once I threw it away, Margie and I and everybody else came inside here, back in that room, and had hot chocolate and some of those fresh Mother Brown's donuts, the one Pauline makes. One more thing. Do you know of anybody who might have some sort of grudge against you? Shirley Logan snorted. You kids are watching too many cops and robbers shows on TV. Nobody has a grudge against me. The people who shop here are Christians. Most of them. It's not like I'm selling dope or anything. Listen, why don't you drop all this and go outside and play? Okay, I said, sensing that her patience had run out. Thanks for taking the time. Guy and I were nearly to the door when I realized Cammy wasn't with us. Cammy? I called. We're going. Just a second. When she joined us outside, she had a strange look on her face. Come here, she said, leading the way around the corner of Agape out of Mrs. Logan's view. She held out her hand. Look. On her hand lay a crumpled piece of white paper. To one corner was attached a piece of silver gray duct tape. My back got goosebumps. It's a corner of the banner, Guy breathed. Look, here's the edge of a letter. Maybe the tail of a C or S, I said. And it's computer paper, all right, said Guy. It's got tractor-fed holes along the edge. Cammy nodded. So here's a clue at last. But we've got to make sure, I said reluctantly. Guy nodded. One more chat with Mrs. Logan. Back into the store we went. You kids are just too much. Mrs. Logan was really exasperated when she saw us. What now? Cammy held up the piece of paper. Shirley Logan scowled. Where did you find that? Is this part of the banner? Yes, it looks like it. Did you find it in the trash across the street? No, Cammy said. I found it in your basket there at the back. Mrs. Logan took the piece of paper and studied it. That's part of it, she admitted. Probably the right-hand corner. But how did it get in my wastebasket? We watched her as she thought. Now I remember, she said. I ripped the banner down and tossed it into the trash receptacle across the way. When I came back here, one of the ladies gave this to me. She pulled it off the front of the store. I guess when I pulled the banner down, I hadn't gotten it all. I must have tossed this in my wastebasket without thinking about it. May we keep it? Guy asked. For a clue? Mrs. Logan shrugged and handed it back. I guess so. But I still think you kids should be out playing in the fresh air. We said goodbye once more and left Agape. Cammy, I said. What? I've got a job for you. What is it? She asked suspiciously. Could you collect samples of fanfold computer paper from all the Hamlet stores? A puzzled furrow appeared between her eyebrows. What's fanfold computer paper? Like this. I held up the fragment. Computer paper that's folded and comes in a box. And you can tear the sheets apart with the help of little perforations. Why do you want samples? I just want to see how much difference there is between types of computer paper. Try to get paper that has printing on it. And you also want to see if any of that paper matches with this piece, right? Right. How am I going to get all that paper without attracting suspicion? She demanded. Go for their wastebaskets, Guy suggested. You've already proved you're good at wastebaskets. After a thoughtful pause, Cammy said, I'll try. Great, I said. Once you've got a sheet from the store, just write that store's name on it and get it to me. Okay, she agreed. I'll start now. Come on, Guy, I said, once Cammy had left. Let's go to my office. My office is a tiny upstairs room in ye old bookstore. Dad has found me an old gray metal desk and a gooseneck lamp at a thrift shop. Sometimes I do my homework up there while I wait for Mom to finish work. On the way to my office, I stopped at the reference shelf and got the magnifier from the little drawer at the top of the OED. Then upstairs we turned on the lamp and placed the paper underneath. But we'd scarcely had a chance to study it when we heard footsteps on the stairs, and Cammy hurried into the room, her eyes wide. Guess what? She said breathlessly. I was walking by the gazebo a second ago, and I saw an old couple looking at one of the benches and talking to each other in loud voices. I went to see what was the matter, but when they told me that and then they told me that somebody had removed all the bolts from the bench slats.